Hello. Today we are going to discuss about the structure and function of the human stomach. You know, the stomach is the third part of the digestive tract, and it has essential rules. We'll discuss later. First of all, I would like to divide the present discussion into two parts. Means number one, the structure of stomach, and number two, the functions of stomach. If you want to understand the structure of the function of stomach, first of all you must know the structure, how it is formed. Okay, then we'll be able to understand the functions. Now let us start with the function structures. Well, here is what I have drawn. I have drawn the structure of a stomach. This is esophagus. Okay, this is esophagus, and the food material after the partial digestion from the oral cavity, it is engulfed. Okay, and through the esophagus, it reaches the stomach. Okay, it cannot go back. The food material cannot go back in the normal conditions due to the presence of a sphincter muscle. A sphincter muscle. You should have seen the daughters and the girls and the women. They have a sphincter by which they can that is used to hold the hair together. Okay, that is what sphincter. There are many sphincters present in many parts of the living organisms. Here we are going to discuss what the sphincter which is present between stomach and what esophagus. This is known as cardiac sphincter. What? Cardiac sphincter. Why do we call it cardiac sphincter? The reason is that this is the cardiac stomach. This part, the part of the stomach which is near the heart, that is known as what? Cardiac stomach. And the sphincter which is present here, that is known as cardiac sphincter. Okay, it doesn't allow the food material to go back into esophagus. Well, only during antiperistalsis or during the gastritis, the food material may go back, or vomiting. Those are not the normal conditions. Okay, here in case of normal conditions, the food material cannot go back due to what? Due to what? Cardiac sphincter. Okay, now here is I have drawn the longitudinal section. This is longitudinal section. Okay, and this is transverse section of the stomach, of the human stomach. Okay, now you can see the outermost layer. This layer. This is the connective tissue layer. Okay, inside the connective tissue are present two layers of the muscles: the circular muscles and longitudinal muscles. Suppose this is the stomach. We just suppose the muscles which are present along the length, those are known as longitudinal muscles, from the longitude. Okay, and those muscles which are present along the transverse side, okay, those are known as what? The transverse muscles. Okay, well, inside the muscles, inside the muscular layer, are the lining of the stomach is formed by what? That is formed by the epithelial layer. You can see here, I have written here in the red ink, this one, okay? This is, you can see now you can read. This is what? Epithelial layer. This is circular layer and longitudinal muscles layer. Okay, now the epithelial layer is a bit rough, okay, and it hosts two types of the glands: endocrine cells which secrete gastrin, and exocrine cells which form the gland known as gastric gland. And these gastric glands, they consist of three types of the cells. And those are what? The cells which secrete, the cells, I've drawn here, you can see, I have drawn here the one type of the cells, the other type of the cells, and yet the third type of the cell. One type of the cells, second type of the cells, and third type of the cells. I have drawn here. These are not conical. I have just exaggerated the figure. I have drawn the conical cells here. I have drawn here in red color, and I have drawn here the gastric gland cells in black ink. Okay, you can get the message from these three types of the cells, that they have different functions. One type of the cells, they secrete mucus, okay, and the mucus forms the lining along on the inner side. Suppose this is your stomach. This is stomach. On the inner side of the stomach, is the layer of mucus which protect the stomach. Those people who suffer from the peptic ulcer, first of all, their mucus layer is damaged. Mucus layer is destroyed. Okay, and I may tell you people that acidic foods and more spicy foods are the damaging things, particularly for the mucus layer. Okay, now these gastric glands, they have three types of the cells. One type of the cells I have told you earlier, what? Those cells which secrete what? Mucus. The other type of the cells are the second type of the cells. These are known as what? The zymogen cells. Okay, the other type of the cells are what? The parietal cells. Okay, the zymogen cells are also known as what? Chief cells. Why? Because they have the chief function. What is the chief function? The digestion or hydrolysis of food material. Okay, now let us discuss one by one. The mucus cells, they form the lining. They protect the stomach from the damage caused by the enzymes are what? HCl, which is produced by the parietal cells. And the third type of the cells, I have told you people, those are what? The chief cells. The chief cells, they produce what? The enzyme known as what? Pepsinogen. What? Pepsinogen. Well, if you have understood the structure of stomach, except for this is what I have told you people, this hump-like structure is what? The cardiac stomach. And then here is what? The fundus. What? Fundus. Here is this conical part of the stomach are the end of the stomach. That is known as what? Pyloric stomach. And it is also known as pylorus. And at the end of the pyloric stomach is present, what this here is again the you can see this ring-like structure is known as what? Pyloric sphincter. The ring-like muscular structure present at the end of the stomach is known as what? Pyloric sphincter. It doesn't allow the food material go back from the duodenum. This is here is what? Duodenum. Okay. Well, the pyloric sphincter doesn't allow the food material to go back from duodenum into stomach, right? Now, let's come to the functions of stomach. The first function of the stomach is what? Storage of the food material. You take the food material, you take the breakfast, and you keep on up to lunch, and after the lunch you keep on after up to dinner. Okay, how? Because you have enough food material in your stomach that is stored. Okay, the second function is the mixing of the food material. The food material is mixed by the churning movement of the stomach, and that churning movement is caused by what? The circular and longitudinal muscles, right? The third function is very important function, and that is what? The killing of pathogenic organisms which might be present in your food material. For example, you take the chunk of what apple or guava. As you take from the vendor, you get the chunk of that. Okay, there are million of bacteria and pathogenic organisms. Those might be engulfed by you. As they reach into your stomach, those are killed by what? HCl. HCl is produced by the parietal cells. Clear? Now, the fourth function is digestion of the food material. The digestion is carried out by the enzyme which is produced by the chief cells. Okay, and that is not produced in the active form. This is the blessing of nature, that pepsin is not produced in the active form. Had there been such the case, what should have happened? Pepsin should have damaged your own stomach, because proteins are there in the wall of the stomach. Okay, muscles are formed of what? Proteins. Okay, your cell membrane is formed of what? Proteins. And proteins are what? Proteins are hydrolyzed by pepsin. So pepsin is not produced in the form of pepsin. Rather, it is the sword, it is the dagger which is produced, under cover. Okay? It is covered. It is not functional. It is produced in the form of pepsinogen. And pepsin, when it is converted into pepsin, it converts the proteins into peptide and peptones. Now question is how pepsinogen is converted into pepsin. Now let's see. If you take into consideration this digestion of the food material, here is again, I have written here the main head of the digestion of the food material. Secretion of gastrin is the first step. As the food material reaches in your stomach, as it touches the walls of your stomach, what happens? Gastrin is produced. If it has not touched your stomach, rather you have a smell. You have a smell of a very good food material. Then again, what will happen? The gastrin will be produced. Okay, and if you if you just hear or you look at the food material you haven't eaten, at that time even gastrin would be produced, and the gastrin is the hormone. It is the hormone. It is the peptide hormone which enters into the blood, and along the bloodstream it reaches the stomach, and from the stomach it reaches into your brain, and from the brain the nerves reach the stomach. Again, listen to me. Gastrin is produced, it is mixed into the blood, along the bloodstream, it reaches into your brain, and from the brain the nervous message reaches to where? To the gastric glands. And the gastric glands, they secrete what? Mucus, HCl, and pepsinogen. Now let us see how pepsinogen is converted into pepsin, that convert the protein into peptide and pepton. Pepsinogen is converted into pepsin by pepsin. Again, listen. Pepsinogen is the inactive form. Already present active pepsin converts the pepsinogen into pepsin. Actually, pepsinogen has additional amino acids, and those are hydrolyzed by pepsin. Okay, I will tell you people here that pepsin is what? The enzyme which hydrolyzes the peptide bonds. Okay, so the additional amino acids are removed and pepsinogen becomes pepsin. That pepsin acts upon proteins and peptides are formed. The second process by which the pepsinogen is converted to pepsin is what? Presence of HCl. So HCl also convert the pepsinogen into pepsin. Okay, again, you see what? Now let us summarize it. Stomach has one function, what? Storage of the food material. Second, killing of the microorganisms are those organisms which are pathogenic, particularly the bacteria and fungi, etc., etc. And digestion of the food material, churning of the food material, okay, mixing, and digestion takes place by pepsin mainly, and pepsin is activated by pepsin itself, which is already present, or HCl. Okay, thank you very much. If you have understood in a big way, if you have understood this description, you can share this video to your friends so that they may also get the benefit of this video. And if you like and subscribe my channel, I would be thankful to you. Thank you.